We moved our whole lives to France in 8 days and 14 suitcases, almost.
So close. But what did we choose to put in those suitcases, and do we regret anything that we brought, or do we regret anything that we left behind?
So if you missed part 1 of this saga, you may want to watch this video first, where we talked about the challenge of getting rid of a lifetime of stuff in about a week.
In this video, we're switching gears to focus more on the practical side of shipping your things from the US to France, how to do it, what to bring, and maybe some things to watch out for.
First of all, you know, if you watched part 1, that despite our best intentions, we did end up leaving the US with a small storage closet of stuff that couldn't fit in the suitcases, but we decided we did want to keep and try and get to France. So, how did we end up doing this? Because it was too big to ship via like FedEx or, you know, too expensive for airmail, but also kind of too small for like a lot of the regular big full shipping container companies.
It wasn't necessary.
We ended up using a company called You Pack We Ship to ship one of their large size pallets. Let me just say, it's pretty fast how quick you can go from like, I'm so pumped, this is gonna be awesome, to, oh my God, not again. Look at this. I just got everything here to the garage from the storage unit. So these that I'm showing you, these boxes and crates, including that big one, and include this giant wrapped piece of furniture, all of those have to fit on a pallet this size. Yeah. Okay, so I thought we had all these like awesome cartons. They were gonna stack awesome and be super indestructible for shipping across the ocean. But you know what? They actually stack like, and they have these gaps so they can't like stack up against each other. So then there's this huge gap you're losing. Ugh. So you know what? I'm about to repack everything into cardboard cartons. Okay, end of day 2. Everything is in cartons. Now we just have to hope that I'm going to be able to stack that stuff up so that it will actually all fit. We're going to find out tomorrow. The way this happened was they delivered a shipping kit ahead of time to our faithful friend's garage. Thank you, Nick, who you saw in the last video. Oh my gosh. I just put the rocker in as an experiment and I can see it's gonna work. I'm gonna have plenty of space. I cannot even express how relieved I am right now. And then I went back to Colorado and packed that, built the pallet from the kit and packed that over the course of a couple days. Made it! And there it goes. So because this shipment was going to go through customs when it arrived in France, I had to inventory each box and record what was in it in a list as I did this.
If you hire a full service shipping company, they usually pack for you and they'll complete this inventory listing as well. So now, like if you're thinking, oh man, just for that reason alone, I might want to hire a full service shipping company, don't panic. This was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be because it didn't have to be exact. Like for example, if I was packing a box of Juliana's toys, I just labeled it kind of generally like, I would get a little more specific than toys, but I would say like dolls, doll clothes, dress up outfits, stuffed animals, right? I didn't have to actually say like 13 pink Barbie tops. It was not that specific, so it's okay. But do not write miscellaneous on these boxes. Customs agencies hate the word miscellaneous. I think it's their trigger word.
I think so.
And if they see it, oh, good luck.
Your stuff's getting inspected for sure. Yeah. Okay. So I also had to fill out some other shipping forms when I did this. They were things like declarations, you know, that these were personal goods, that they weren't for resale, those kind of things. But You Pack We Ship had instructions for everything. They had some YouTube videos online showing me how to assemble the box and seal it up and what to put on the papers. And the customer service was really good. So it wasn't as hard as it sounds.
The box we're showing you here, this fit about 1,000 pounds or carried about 1,000 pounds. What I really appreciated about the You Pack We Ship website, it has real, actual listed prices on their site. You can select your departure point, your place of delivery, and switch between all the different size pallets, your different options.
Where they're going, coming from.
To see very quickly what this whole expedition, this whole moving effort is going to cost you. This is a very different process than most shipping companies, which usually have a very very opaque pricing structure that usually involves an in-person visit and a special customized quote that you always have to wait for. So this isn't an advertisement for UPack We Ship.
I know, I realize
We don't
it
have
sounds
any
like it.
relationship or anything. We were just really impressed with the entire process from beginning all the way to the end.
It's here. It came. It made it. So, it is the last week in February. We shipped this from Denver area in the US mid-December. So it's taken about 3 months to arrive. Came today. Looks completely unscathed. I'm very excited. And we're about to do the big unpacking. And I do think if you're shipping a whole household of goods, I get it, right? Like they have to customize things a little more. But this was great if you just had a few things and you're trying to figure out, like, is this worth it? Yeah. Especially like we had a couple of small pieces of furniture, like my grandfather's rocker that we've talked about a couple times, or, oh my goodness, Juliana's American Girl Hotel, which she was positive she was definitely still going to play with if we shipped it here.
It's been sitting against the wall for a couple of years now.
Yeah. But I get it. It was important.
It was important to her at the time.
Yeah.
Another option, there's also sendmybag.com, which we've seen a lot of people have really good luck with for smaller shipments of personal items. So things like small boxes, extra suitcases, odd-shaped items like a bike or specialized sports gear. Any kind of situation where you don't have enough hands or maybe enough trunk space to deal with these items during your initial arrival here. Yeah.
Sendmybag.com I think is a good option for those odd bits.
Yeah.
With both of these companies, UPack We Ship and Send My Bag, we have seen other websites using similar sounding names. But just, I mean, be really cautious, like don't fall for these. They're kind of sketchy sites that are trying to take advantage of
similar spellings. Yeah, we'll provide the full name and links to these individual websites down in the description below to be sure that you're looking at the correct company.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as like full service shipping companies, we don't really have a particular one to recommend, and we do get this question a lot. Just keep in mind, get more than one quote, get references, and prices can vary all the time as shipping costs change. That's kind of like across the ocean, shipping costs change all the time.
Yeah.
If one quote that you receive is particularly low compared to the others, be very suspicious of this one.
Yeah, we have definitely heard of cases where people get a great quote, they're super excited, and then once the shipping company has their things in their possession, suddenly there's like these unexpected charges you have to pay. Oh, it was overweight. Oh, there was an extra customs charge. Oh, there were tolls. Like just things that
So pay close attention to that in the actual documentation and whatever kind of contract or agreement they give you.
What's actually included. Yeah. Okay, moving on to what we actually chose to bring in all those suitcases. Yeah. You saw the drama in the last video. Was it worth it? The big question.
Yeah.
There was a few categories that most of the things that we chose to bring fell into, and we thought we'd just talk about those to kind of help you understand what our reasoning was and see if maybe that might be yours, or it helps you know that like, no, that's not a thing for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So to start with, the first like obvious category that I think most people know, photo albums. We had kindergarten artwork we'd turned into drink coasters, a mug my grandmother gave me, those kinds of things. No real value except for to you. Yeah. So we did have a few people suggest like we could have eliminated a lot in this category by digitizing photos and that kind of stuff, which is totally true. But one, I didn't really have time in that moment. So this would be something, if your move is a few years off and you want to start this process, do it now. But also, I kind of like the albums. I
do too. I like the physical feel of the photos.
Yeah. So this one I felt like it was worth it. I'm more likely to sit down and flip through an album with, a grandparent or Juliana than I am if they get locked away on a hard drive. So I feel like that was worth it, and I'm happy with that one.
Beyond photos, as far as sentimental items go, we focused on the things that we really used regularly.
Yes.
And I felt really good about those. It was important to think through, how often am I using this thing right now? One of my favorites. I love pulling out my mug. There's Juliana. Little Juliana there in the front.
She's mostly bald still.
Yeah. I think she got this for me on my first Father's Day. It was always my coffee mug at work back in the US, and it still makes me very happy to pull out in the morning. And there's lots of mugs here in France,
Of
but
course.
none of them are going to be the same as this one. So
None
I
of them
can't
with
just
bald
find a
Juliana.
replacement for this mug. It was one of a kind, and it had to come.
Yeah. Another category was just like things that made our place feel more like home. So an example of this is our glass candy jar. I don't know if you can see it over in the corner here. Da, da, da. Hello. We got this thing at the Canton Flea Market in Texas, which if you are familiar with this or you're from Texas, you know, this is the largest flea market in the world. We went when we were dating.
Yeah, I grew up in Texas, in Houston, not in the countryside and not in rural Texas.
Not like me.
When Raina took me to the Canton Flea Market, she and her uncle both went on and on about it. I was internally
Canton
rolling
Flea
my
Market.
eyes, but I could see like the sparkle in their eyes. This was a special place, but I mean, how great is it's a flea market? Come on.
You know if you've been to Canton. You never know what you're going to find.
Personally, I was blown away. It's like a whole city out there in the countryside with vendors everywhere selling everything, and there's tons of junk, but there's some real treasures there too. And the scale of the place is just what's amazing. You could spend all day there. But this candy jar, anyway, this candy jar that we came home with, it was a little like the beginning of kind of the commingling of our lives and our experiences and our separate backgrounds, that we now had this shared experience coming to fruition from Canton in the shape of this candy jar.
You have to tell us if you've ever been to Canton in the comments.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this thing came home to the first apartment we shared together. It's moved every place we've ever lived. I always feel like if I see the candy jar, I'm home.
Yeah, and again, we could put candy in something else, of course.
Yep.
There's lots of plenty of jars here in France to dump your candy in if that's what you want. But there's so many things that feel new and unfamiliar, and it can be really comforting to have just a few familiar things around you, even if it's just a candy jar, to provide an important connection from your old life to your new one here.
We also brought, kind of in a similar vein, art that we'd collected over the years from travels. None of it like particularly expensive, but you know, it was special. And box of Christmas ornaments, Jason's famous grapefruit shortbread, baking pan.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of what to call it. I mean,
it's got little snowflakes on it. It's
does.
very wintry.
Yeah,
it's a great shortbread.
So, I mean, these were just things, along with like handmade ornaments, things you've collected across years of travel. They just didn't feel easily replaceable. And most of them were pretty small and light, so they were kind of like no-brainer decisions. Yeah.
The next big category were things that are in English that we didn't think we could find in France, but we knew we would still want to use very regularly.
Things like favorite cookbooks.
Board games that had a lot of writing. Munchkin's a great game if you've never played it. I highly recommend.
But every card has got a ton of writing. You got to know what your character does.
There's definitely something different about reading a recipe in French, which is easy enough to do. But it just feels different than reading a lot of these familiar recipes in English.
Well, not just that, but like they're not sometimes you want to find American recipes for like banana bread. And I guess the internet exists and all that stuff, but I almost feel like my cookbooks are again like kind of art or collection, and
the tactile feeling of just like flipping through some of the pages sometimes is really nice.
And then I can like pass them down to Juliana, who loves to cook and loves to bake, and like these are American recipes that I feel like I want to be part of her heritage, considering she's going to have spent more of her childhood in France by the time she's an adult than she will have in the U.S.
Yeah.
Well, close. We came when she was 11, so it's about even. But also, and also with board games, there are board games in France. Board games are super popular.
A lot of the same board games exist here too. They're just in French.
Right. And so we have started to collect board games in French. But like, when you have family and friends come and you're visiting, like, to me, I find that to be
every card they turn over, what does this mean? What do I do now?
It gets old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having some of the gold standards that we know we play a lot with our American family and friends when they come to visit in English.
Makes it a lot easier.
It's been nice. Yeah.
There were also a lot of things for like cultural traditions that we just wanted to continue here in France. Things like pumpkin and pecan pie at Thanksgiving. You know what they don't have here? Pie pans. There are plenty of tart pans. You can make all the tarts in the world. Yeah.
But a deep dish pie pan? Oh, it's so different. I mean, this is a whole different baking experience. You got more room for filling, a whole different like crust to filling ratio. It cooks differently. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And the irony is, you may recognize this is an Emile Henry pie plate, which we bought.
Emile Henry, made in France. Cannot find it in France.
They don't sell them here in France.
No,
like not that we've seen. It's always tart pans.
It's always a tart pan.
So it's kind of funny. I guess Emile Henry knows their audience. They make these for the American audience and tart pans
if you
for the
really
French
enjoy your holiday pies, bring a pie pan.
Bring a pie pan. And so like the way we chose for cultural traditions were things either we wanted to share with French friends, like we have Thanksgiving now with our French friends.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing for them to share with them. Or things that we wanted to be able to hand down to Juliana, again, to like preserve her connection to her American culture if she ends up staying here in France for the rest of her life. We don't know what she'll do.
It feels like a difference without meaning, right? An apple tart versus an apple pie.
Yeah.
A pumpkin tart versus a pumpkin pie. And maybe it is no difference, but it feels different to me.
It's
and
different.
That's something I want to pass on.
Filling to crust ratio.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah. Not that I don't like a tart, but all right. Next up, we've got the family heirlooms. This was like my grandmother's china, my grandfather's rocker, some like my great grandmother made baby blankets and quilts, for several family members. And we wanted to keep those. Again, like we only kept things like this that we use. Or it was a few, meaningful items. My great grandmother has stitched her signature into this, and maybe Juliana will have children, maybe she won't. But if she does, I want to give her this blanket. Yeah.
I think maybe the last item, though, was like clothing and shoes. And this was kind of a hard choice. There are plenty of clothes. There are plenty of shoes in France. Everyone here wears clothes and shoes. They're easy to find.
Yeah, it's true.
So why in the world would you allocate very limited space for these fairly easily replaceable items?
Yeah.
For me, my personal reason is I just hate clothes shopping. Hate it. So the longer I could put this off, this need to like rebuy my wardrobe by bringing clothes with me, I was just extremely happy to do that.
This was just a quality of life thing.
Quality of life decision. Yeah. And I also brought several hats that I left in the United States originally, as well as some shirts from local teams, Houston Astros, University of Texas, because sometimes I want to be able to pull out and wear sports gear, either around town or when I'm watching a game. And other than maybe the Yankees, it's really hard to find U.S. team gear here in France. You see plenty of Yankee hats, sometimes some Bulls, Chicago Bulls, but otherwise they're really hard to find.
Although he did run into a guy in the pharmacy parking lot wearing a UT hat.
Yeah, he's wearing a UT hat.
Jason runs over to him. Where'd you get that? His son-in-law turned out to be American and had gotten it for him.
Was working at University of Texas.
Yeah.
And so they sent him a hat. It was funny.
Anyway, all right. For me, the reason I decided to bring some clothes and shoes with limited space was I am taller. I got bigger feet and bigger boobs than the average French woman. And I've just found it really hard to find like cute, comfortable shoes in France. So I brought some of my shoes that were comfortable and high quality here that fit me well. And then also, this is one of the things I did not expect to be a thing when I moved here, which is like in the US, you spend a lifetime as a woman. I don't know about men, but
I don't have this problem.
figuring out like which brands fit you well in the US, like which ones are kind of like which stores kind of have your style, which have decent quality to price, like all these kind of things. And you kind of like have this figured out by the time, hopefully you're, in my age bracket here, and you got to figure it all out again in France. And it is kind of exhausting. So for me, it was just, I brought some things that were like tried and true wardrobe staples so that as I started to figure out what stores worked for me in France, I had already some wardrobe things and I didn't need to do all this from scratch. I had been living out of a suitcase for quite a while then. I was ready to have to not think about this every time we went to an event. And so, plus you use the clothes for packing material. It saved us money, actually.
That's how we like to think about it. Yeah. It all worked out.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
All right.
So now, the items that we didn't bring. What did we choose to leave behind?
Yep.
So first, anything with a motor, it's going to burn up with the voltage difference. Just leave those stuff behind.
Your Vitamixer, your KitchenAid mixer, they don't do it.
We left behind almost all of our household goods, things like linens and cookware. And this was really kind of disappointing because we really liked the stuff that we had. We loved our kitchen.
Yeah, we cooked a lot.
Felt it was really high quality, but it was really bulky. It's heavy. It's hard to pack. And plus, we knew that after having been here that we could find all this stuff too, right?
Yeah,
Pans, pots, appliances, those kind of things are fairly easy to find.
Right.
And now, the lady at the garage sale lady from the previous video is enjoying all of our kitchen gear. So, good for her, I guess.
Yeah. We also did not bring anything, no matter how cool it was, if we hadn't been actively using it before.
That was a really important benchmark for it.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, that was why we didn't bring those cool folding helmets, is like, I think we've always imagined ourselves to be more bikers than we were, but like, we just don't bike a lot. Other than getting Juliana to school and back, or camping was the same way.
Camping's the same way.
Right.
Once we hit our 40s, we lost interest in camping. So there wasn't any need to bring
I still want to see ourselves as campers, but yeah, we're not. So none of that stuff came, and I feel really good. Those were all good decisions.
Good decisions in the end. One thing that we did get rid of, and I really regretted after we got here, was our cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
Just couldn't find cast iron skillets anywhere here in France.
Weird.
And I think it took us a while, but we really realized how important it was for, there's so many different recipes, so many different American food, where having a cast iron skillet makes a big difference in being able to prepare this thing.
You cannot make skillet cornbread without the skillet.
Yeah. So that was a big disappointment, and we did find a way to order one here in France, and we paid a small fortune to have it ordered, delivered, and arrive here. But we still use it. We use it every week. So if I could go back, that might be one of the few things that I would have done very differently. I would have packed that bulky and extremely heavy cast iron skillet and just found a way to bring it over.
Yeah, and I think that this is like, so anything that you have that's like unique regional cookware or kitchen gear that might be hard to replace, that may be one of the exceptions to like bringing the cookware. So if you've got something that's kind of specific to your region.
Give those a second thought.
Yeah. Another thing that I don't necessarily regret it, but I realize now we did not need to prioritize them, was our favorite records. This was kind of, again, like as Juliana grows up, like I loved the idea of having an American record collection of things, to share with her and play. And the reality is like American music is popular all over the world, like all decades, all genres. There's record stores everywhere in France, and they're just filled with American music.
Oh, sure. Lots of French music as well, right? But there's definitely, it's easy to find American records, American bands.
And, I know there's Spotify and everything, but we enjoy records. It's kind of like a family thing to listen to them. But those were super easy to find. So it's just the cost replacement you're thinking about.
Yeah. So these would have been really easy to replace if we had just left them at home. But yeah.
That's okay. We have them. We didn't have to rebuy them.
We got them.
It's fine.
So it did take about 3 months to receive our pallet. It came on the shipping truck, and then on a truck to our house. They dropped it right in our driveway. And crazy enough, not asking any questions, there were no custom charges assessed. They treated the entire shipment as personal goods, and they sent it all the way through with no taxes.
We were like, part of me was like, you've got to be kidding. We did all this. You saw all the drama, and then we didn't even have to pay.
This whole effort was designed to avoid customs charges.
I'm like, I could have brought everything. But I took this as the karma gods giving us a break. And, I'm just going to enjoy sitting in my grandfather's rocking chair, practicing my French, and not ask any questions.
Yeah, sometimes it's best.
All right. Well, good luck with all of this. If you're packing and purging right now, and thanks for watching.
A bientôt.